Yes, people, Arsenal with Ash. It's Arsenal versus Chelsea this weekend. Big London derby in the Premier League this season. And I'm looking forward to this one, man. I've always looked forward to a Chelsea game, especially at the Emirates. If you just cast your mind back to last season when we played them at the Emirates, 5-0 win. Oh my days, what a night that was. That was a special night. And we smashed them. We absolutely smashed them. I'm obviously not expecting that this time round. They are a much better, they are a better team than they were last season. And we are obviously not at our best. So it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game. They're fighting for top four. They're fighting for their lives. I think they're currently fourth at the moment, 2 points off of City in fifth. And yeah, a win tonight, no, a win this weekend, sorry, would take them to within 3 points of us. So then we're now looking behind our shoulders. So we can't afford to lose this game. Take a draw. A draw would be fine. I think we'd be all right. Yes, Forest are not far behind us either. But when you look at it on paper with our fixtures that are remaining, I think this and then obviously Liverpool away in a few weeks' time is our last big 6 games. So our fixture gets a little bit kinder after this fixture list. So yeah, we want to win, obviously, ideally, and have that momentum because we've got a big Champions League game to prepare for. Yes, this is an international break after this, but to have that momentum would be nice. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. They've won their last 2 games in the league, albeit against Southampton and Leicester at home, which you'd expect pretty much any team in the league to do. They're not that convincing. I'm sure their fans would agree with this. They don't even know what to expect from their team game in, game out. You don't expect them to go and to beat Leicester 1-0 and seemingly kind of struggle in that game. That you'd expect them to win that quite convincingly. But there's just a lot of uncertainty. You don't know who's going to play. Obviously, they're without a striker at the moment in Jackson. Palmer's off form as well. But obviously, this is the type of game that you don't need much for the players to get up for. So I can imagine that they're going to come here and fancy themselves. Because it was a tough game when we went there earlier in the season, Stamford Bridge. They were obviously a lot more confident then. They found themselves in a title race, and yeah, they posed a big threat to us. I think we quite managed that game quite well, to be fair, considering we had a couple of injuries that day. I mean, we could have nicked it at the end with a last minute goal. We could have created. So yes, it's going to be a tough game. I'm expecting them to come with a strong team. The likes of Palmer, obviously he's not been informed, like I said, but I can imagine he's going to be up for this. Neto, who I'm a fan of, he's obviously going to cause us problems as well with his pace. Caicedo in midfield against Rice, that'll be a good battle. You hear a lot of talk online, especially between Chelsea and Arsenal fans, between who's better. Obviously, it's got to be Rice, but Caicedo is a good player and he's having a good season. Obviously, he's next to Enzo Fernandez, who, if you give him the opportunity, can pick out a pass. And defensively, they're okay. They've obviously got Cucurella at left back. He's obviously one of the better left backs in the league. Reece James at right back, he's kind of staying fit for about a month now, which is a big win for him. And at centre back, I think that's where we can hurt them because there's a lot of uncertainty there. I know they got Fofana back in the squad. Colwill is a shaky warrior. Tossing as well is a bit suspect sometimes. And obviously their goalkeeper situation. Their goalkeeper situation is mad because they spend all of this money and they can't find themselves a top goalkeeper. And Robert Sanchez will give us a chance. I've got no doubt about it. So yeah, it's a big game, a London derby, like I said, and it's the opportunity for us to pretty much put the nail in the coffin in terms of finishing above them for this season and strengthening our quest to finish second at least in the league. Um, so yeah, I'm expecting a tough game. Obviously, United away last week. We came up against a low block. I can't see Chelsea doing that. And even if they did, that's not their game. They're not used to that. They're going to come and try and impose themselves. I reckon they're going to come and try and come and go machine for machine with us. And we'll see who comes out on top. But I back us with our stronger defence than theirs to actually come on top. So the way they're going to play could suit us a bit more because I think they're going to try and get on the ball and play. And we'll have opportunities to soak up a bit of pressure and break on them. And with the likes of Martinelli back as well, with his pace on the break, it can cause them problems. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But In terms of my predicted 11, I'll go with David Raya in goal. He's been brilliant this season. I'll keep him there. I'd bring Timber back in at right back for Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel. Those three, and Raya obviously, pretty much write their own names on the team sheet. At left back, I'm going with Miles Lewis-Skelly. Just called up for the England squad as well for the first time. Big him up for that. Can you imagine his debut season, yeah? Playing out of position at left back. You got to remember that he's a centre midfielder. And he's playing at left back and gets into that England squad. Absolutely brilliant. What a kid. Really, really proud of him. And we love to see that, to see a young Highlander make it all the way through to an England national team. So big him up for that. But yeah, I'd be starting him, and I'm sure he's going to be buzzing as well going into this game after his call up. In centre midfield, I'd go with Partey, Rice, Odegaard. That's the kind of trusted midfield that we've got at the moment in terms of that's our best available midfield, our best until the end of the season at least, when I can see us going into the market. So I'd go with them three. Rice is kind of picking up form as well. He's scored in his last couple of games. So hopefully he can continue that. And then in the front three is where it gets interesting, because I know Arteta's spoken about managing Martinelli's minutes and that he came back earlier than expected, etc. But I'm starting him up front. Even if you can get 60 minutes out of him, I don't see why he can't put in a 60-minute shift up front. I'd put him there. I'd put Trossard on the left, and I'd put Ethan Nwaneri on the right. And I think that front three can cause Chelsea problems. That's starting to look a bit better and more natural. I do want to see Martinelli in the 9, and then he can rotate kind of with Trossard as well, and cause them a lot of problems. So yeah, that's the team I go with. And if we do go with that, I can see us winning this game. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win. I think they've got a lot of firepower, even though they haven't got a striker. So I do think they'll get a goal, but I think it will be too much for them, and we'll win the game. So I'm going to go with a Martinelli goal. I'm going to go with Ethan to get a goal as well. And I'm going to go with Dek to continue his goal scoring form. So yeah, that's what I'm predicting. And hopefully it's another enjoyable London derby, man, because yeah, we've been enjoying against Chelsea recently. I can't remember the last time they beat us in the league. And even in a Big Six game, we ain't lost in a couple of years. So we're flying in that regard. So yeah, looking forward to this. Emirates is going to be buzzing. Last game before the international break. So let's send the boys off on a high. And yeah, let me know your thoughts, your predictions, who you want to see in the lineup, whether you want to stick with Marino up front or like me, have Martinelli in the team. Would you give Sterling a start after his performance midweek? Who knows? But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And let's beat those dirty Blues, man. Let's go.